Hi everyone, I'm Colombe. I'm the co-founder of Atlas, and I'm doing this quick video to tell you about us, how you can volunteer and start to change the world. I know it's not the best way to meet and to just watch this 10 or so minutes video, but please do so because it will give you all of the information you need in order to be able to meaningfully volunteer with us and start having real life interactions. So let's get started. But first things first, thank you so much for taking your time. I'm really grateful that you're even considering volunteering with us. I think that to change the world, we need to work together across borders. We need all hearts, brain, and souls willing to actually come together, do the work, sacrifice what needs to be sacrificed, have an adventure of a lifetime, and make it happen. So thank you, and let's get started. First things first, welcome. You can see all of those wonderful faces here. Those are some of our members that have taken different types of actions. And I hope that very soon we'll see a picture of you on the screen as well. So who we are. Atlas is a global political party in the making, uniting the world. And we do so for equity, for freedom, and for well-being. I'm saying in the making because we're not new. We've been around for a couple of years. We basically got started in 2020 as an advocacy grassroots organization. We did a lot of campaign working to unite people on climate, democracy, women's rights, vaccines equity. We had some successes, many failures, but most importantly, we learned a lot, including the fact that we need to get power. We need to get power all over the world in order to stand a chance at implementing our vision. We need to have people elected coming together to change the very systems we live in and to be able to give us a chance at a better life. And that's why it's in the making. We are transitioning to becoming a global political party. We are getting ready to run for elections. And that's our mission. We want to get elected at all levels of governments in democratic countries all over the world to be able to achieve unity and advance our political vision, which is described in the philosophy of unity, our political manifesto. So let's get to it. The philosophy of unity. Basically, it requires humans to overcome divisions for freedom, for equity, and well-being. We believe that if we reach a state of unity, we'll be able for individuals, communities, countries, the world, the planet, to achieve freedom, equity, and well-being. And for this, we need three systemic changes. The first one is we must democratize power and wealth. What I mean by this is whether in your community, in your country, all across the world, few people, few organizations, few countries, few companies have too much of both, hoard power and wealth, which means that the rest of us don't have enough access to it. In order to be able to unite, all must have access to it. This takes a lot of different measures, from ensuring that we can all run for elections, to actually democratizing wealth, stopping major intergenerational wealth transfers and more. Second, we must create equity for all groups. What we mean by this is groups based on different characteristics such as gender, religion, sexual orientation, ethnicity, nationality have different access and opportunities. And that's not acceptable. We can't deny it. Certain groups are privileged across the world. Certain are not. We must actually create a state of fairness, a state of equity. And finally, we must unite worldwide in order to administer our world. Just think of climate, right? Or think of the fact that multinationals don't pay their taxes. Unless we manage to come together to have a system that has binding competencies that can actually make decisions that represent the world, we'll never deal with those issues. And those are not just sideline issues. Those are major challenges that risk destroying our very planet. Climate puts at risk our existence. Authoritarian countries reaching outside put at risk our very systems of governance. The fact that some pay taxes and some don't puts at risk our social structures. And the fact that we don't work together is dumb as hell. We lose so many opportunities. So that's our philosophy. Let's talk for 2 seconds about our values. And here, please pay attention. Because if you don't believe in those, Atlas is not the political home for you. And if you do, I hope that you'll join me in pushing them forward with everything you have. First things first, democracy. We believe in it. It's imperfect. There's no ideal one. We mess up systematically in democratic countries and so on, but it is the best system we have. We must improve it, but it is the best one we have. Second, human rights and freedoms. And those includes LGBTQI plus rights, abortion rights. If you don't believe they do include those, again, Atlas is not the political home for you. Third, free, fair, and sustainable economy. We're mentioning fair and sustainable because we don't believe in a completely liberal economy. We believe that people should not be left behind, that the concentration of wealth as it is today is unacceptable, that inequalities must be quelled. Third, solidarity. Again, no one should be left behind. No country should be left behind. There's no reason for which certain countries should have it better than others. Certain people should have it better than others. And finally, ecologism. Pretty straightforward. Basically, we believe in human rights. Science is real. We must collaborate across borders. It's not that complicated, but it's fundamental. Now, let's get to the exciting stuff. So, the strategy. I mentioned we want to get elected all over the world. It's a huge task. We don't have it all figured out, and we're asking you to join it to do it with us. But we know what we must do. On the short term, we must establish national political parties on all continents and elect some representatives at every level of governance, from your town hall to your parliament to something more global in the future. And finally, on the short term, we must participate in the UN Secretary General selection process. That was a mouthful. Let me explain it. The UN has a chief, the Secretary General, that they select. I'm saying select because this person is not elected every 5 years. This person does not represent the people of the world that have no say, does not even represent the countries of the world that have no say, because it's a handful of countries that do. No more. In 2021 at Atlas, we ran a stunt primary election and had a candidate, a former head of state, to contest the selection process. It made some noise. This time around, we won't make some noise. We'll make a massive mess. We'll make it impossible for the United Nations to ignore us. Hopefully, a candidate will go find a race. Who knows? You can dream, right? Maybe be elected. At the very least, we'll force the UN to consider very, very strongly its own processes. And if it doesn't want to act democratically, we'll force countries to look very hard at the fact that we need a democratic global governance, an alternative to the United Nations. On the medium term, we want to elect national representatives on all continents. This means we need to get a lot of power. And this means that on the long term, we'll be able to affect global and national policymaking in line with our philosophy. The timeline for our organization. Let's just talk over the next couple of months. I'm recording this video at the end of November 2023. By September 2024, so in just a couple of months, we want to have built a diverse membership and chapters all over the world. For this, we need a lot of global work, right? We need policy, communication, we need to do recruiting events, we need to start the UN campaign. But the idea is, before the 15th of September 2024, which is one, our founding assembly's second International Day of Democracy, we want to have a political party that is representative of the world. You can hear me. I have an accent. I'm clearly French. I don't want a global political party made only of French people. Please come my way, French people. But still, we need a diverse membership in order to stand a chance. Electoral-wise, the sky is the limit. Whatever country you're from, if you have upcoming elections, let's build it, let's run for it, let's win it. You can see on the screen some potential elections, right? Costa Rica, UN, Italy, Kenya, EU, Nepal, New Zealand. Those are just some examples that people have expressed interest in. Join us. Let's do it in your country. Now, let's get to the end of it and the most important part. How can you get involved? 3 ways. First of all, build a national presence. Whatever country you're from, we need Atlas. We need to build it in your country. So we need national organizers. It sounds scary, I know. I promise we'll do it together. So what this means is, sign up and say that you want to build it in your country. Andrea, my co-founder, and I have weekly calls with everyone that is interested in national work and building it in their countries. We'll walk you through together. We'll put you in touch with others. We'll start doing the work together, from organizing the first events, where maybe, who knows, it will only be you, mom, coming. Maybe it will be 100 people, to actually building a political structure. Number 2, support our global work. So we have some core needs. One of them is communication. If you have skills or just like it, like content creation, content dissemination, digital strategy, join us. Second is the UN Secretary General campaign. We need strategies. We need to lobby countries. We need to do some communication work, some underground events, to register voters and so on. Join us. Then if you have a specific insane skill or focus that you're interested in developing, email us, sign up and tell us, because we want to know and we want to use it. And those are not the only ways of getting involved. We do a lot of other stuff. The third point is participate in global activities, because we have a monthly town hall in which we debate strategy, adopt it. And we also work together on policies. I mentioned that philosophy, we make it concrete through policies. We have call to actions on creating, debating, discussing strategies and policies. This week alone, I have a policy discussion with all of our membership on how to counter authoritarianism, and another one on how to create a better post-colonial world. So join us, engage, just don't do nothing, basically. How you can do so is, if you're watching this video, head to atlasmovement.org/volunteer, sign up, fill the form. You'll receive an email asking you why you want to volunteer with Atlas. Answer with a couple of lines. Please tell us why, because this means that we know that you'll be serious. If you have ideas of what you'd like to do, tell us. Let's do it. And then I'll bring you on board. I'll introduce you to people working on the same thing. I'll make sure that you have a meaningful engagement. So join us. Don't hesitate to send us an email if you have any questions. I'll leave this screen on with some frequently asked questions we often have. You can pause the video, you can take a screenshot, and you can again email us at info@atlasmovement.org if you have any questions, and we'll be happy to answer them. Finally, let's change the world together. Atlas is a huge project, bigger than I can possibly comprehend. It requires people from all countries, from all backgrounds, to come together and do the work. There's no secret. There's no magic here. We need to push hard. It will be an incredible adventure, probably a frustrating one at times, but an incredible adventure. So join us.